I'm going to talk about the ideas here. So basically we have a 5-1, and what I'm playing with here sounds that I really like to do on a dominant chord. If I just chose an arpeggio, one would be the diminished substitution, and that gives you a flat 9. And I generally think of it off the 3rd degree. So if we're on C7, I would start on E. This is just my kind of go-to trick, and I would play E diminished 7. That gives me a darker flat 9 flavor, like a harmonic minor scale, F harmonic minor, because we're pulling to the key of F. In this case, though, I chose the other flavor to play a half diminished. So I'm playing E minor 7, flat 5, arpeggio is what I'm thinking here. And here's a C7 chord. But here's that E half dim. So again, you know, what I'm going to just recommend, if you don't know your minors, if you don't know your arpeggios, definitely put that on your practice list to go through, just like you know your chords now. Make sure you can stay on one note and go major 7, dominant 7, minor 7 flat 5, fully dim. You know, just to be able to do that on any note, just like you would do with chords. So, but one thing that I did that I feel is kind of different here was to create a scale sequence, and I'm adding in one note to that half diminished, and that makes it a pentatonic scale, but not your typical minor pentatonic. It's a minor 7 flat 5 pentatonic, and I'm adding in the 4th degree. So check out the lick here at 65, or the phrase. It's actually just a sequence. Okay, and that's just one, that was 2 bars. So it sounds like this. And then what I did and that was again E half diminished, but it kind of is like a pentatonic idea with that. And I'm definitely thinking the E minor 7 flat 5. And then on the S6 chord, my hand goes up to the 10th fret position. F6 is equivalent to D minor 7. So I'm just thinking D minor pentatonic, just this. And I did add this note, it's not in there, but the major 7. So that's the idea for the 5-1 there. And the goal, of course, is to keep it flowing. Work on that, you know, again, I think that's a nice idea. I mean, I like it. And that was just, again, a 5-1, very inside, not, you know, it sounded like this with chords. That 5 chord, A7 to D minor, and I'm thinking of it as 4-bar phrases. A7 wants to go to D minor. And here's the diminished substitution. Notice I start right on the 3rd degree. The 3rd of A7 is C sharp. And so here's a C sharp diminished, but how it's presented is in a sequence. You'll hear me do this quite a bit. And that's just truly a C sharp diminished 7 arpeggio, which would sound like this against the A bass note. Classic sound again to use that diminished substitution. So what I do here on the next measure is to take the same pattern sequence and move it down 3 frets. So it's a nice quick trick. And then when it goes to the D, so it's the same lick, just move your hand 3 frets. You can, and this is very important to do this on diminished licks. You get a lot of mileage out of one idea when you move it around 3 frets. So we have this, switch, sequence. If it was a longer A7, you can even go 3 frets down. You know, so you'll hear that quite a bit, especially in contemporary gypsy jazz playing. On that C7 chord on 65, I chose to keep it inside. What I mean by that is I kept it as a C9. When you use a diminished substitution, it turns it into a flat 9. So I wanted an A7 flat 9 flavor, this. And then it go to D minor. Because I wanted this flavor. So again, I audition it with chords. I try to make sure I know the sound that I want. I think this is very important and often overlooked with a lot of players, is the not trying out and playing chord or chord melody style to know what flavors you want. Because that's how you can really start to choose your colors, especially on dominant chords, because that's where the tension is created. On the C7 chord, again, I just chose a very inside C9. And then I do this. And then on the F chord, I chose an F6, very inside. And then on the A7, that's where it gets darker. And then on the D minor chord, just to move on, I chose D minor 6. So this whole C section here is a sequence, an arpeggio study, and some pentatonics. And again, I love these are really good. This is kind of the boot camp portion of it. That was a good technique exercise. But here's the arpeggio. But I didn't want to just go down that arpeggio. That was a D minor 6. What I wanted to do is create a sequence. I like that a little bit more. And then I'm going now to a new idea for the next C7. Actually, it's not really that new. It's similar to the previous C7 idea, just again, presented in a different way. But again, I would love for you to analyze it, but I'm going to kind of just walk you through it here. And again, there's definitely some technique. I'm doing everything so far, everything is alternate picking for me. I'll just do that again, so if you want to watch my picking. And that was all just down, up, down, up, down. But it's a good exercise though, because there's a lot of cross picking, crossing the strings. And there's a lot of sequences. It's not just running up and down the scale. So measure 70, now we're going back to that C7 again, back to the F5-1, this. And notice again, I'm playing a C9 chord, and not a flat 9, just a C9. So that's what I'm wanting to achieve with my soloing. So what I'm doing here is to play the same thing, E minor 7 flat 5, but E minor 7 flat 5 on a C chord, C7 chord, can also be renamed to, you know it, G minor 6. So now check out this arpeggio. Here's the actual, just the plain old arpeggio up and down on G. And by the way, this is a good exercise, not looking to again, visualize root, 5th, root, 5th, root, 5th, root, and just get accurate. Root, 5th, root, 5th, root, 5th. That's a great exercise, by the way, just talking again about visualization, fretboard visualization, and these patterns. But now check out the arpeggio, and I would love for you all to do this with me. I'm actually looking at the sheet music and not you, but check this out. G, D, G, D, G, D. Root, 5th, root, 5th, root, 5th. We are on a C7 chord, but we're thinking G minor 6. Okay, that's the trick. Check it out on the guitar. C9. Well, check out G minor 6. Right? C9, G minor 6. It's right there. So it's contained in there. G minor 6 is in the C9 chord. There's just no C. So here's the arpeggio. And I have a lot of etudes just going up and down that. But in this case, again, I want to create a sequence because I find it's more musically interesting and it's also fun and for technique. Okay, and again, it's a 2-bar sequence. Do that slow. See, we're climbing up. Work out your fingering. And again, I'm just doing all down, up, sorry. that's on a C9. And then now on that F major chord, I wanted to do something different here. I wanted to take a triad, this recurring pattern. You can almost call it like a pedal tone idea. I mean, you have an F major triad, but I'm moving a note each time. So we have a C note, kind of building it up. So C, D, E, F. And I went to F6 there. I think I demonstrated it wrong. So there's a nice little movement. This melody decorated or embellished with all this other stuff, this. And that's kind of what makes it, a little bit busier. And again, I shifted positions. Shifting is something else that I always feel is very important. Really work on your shifting. Like, where do I need to shift to execute this cleanly? Here it is slowly. Shift. 2, 3, 4. Again, you know what I mean? So work that out. If you like that lick and that idea, you want to try to connect these ideas. This is again, it's a long etude and it's got a lot of notes. Okay, but it's got a lot of nice ideas harmonically, I think. These are a lot of things that I'm personally trying to always throw into my playing, a lot of concepts. I wanted to treat this B flat 7 chord in a unique way that was not how we did it before. So I'm using the scale. And that's an F melodic minor. It almost sounds like the whole tone scale. It starts off kind of whole tony because the melodic minor scale has those consecutive whole tones. 1, 2, 3, 4 whole tones in a row. And for those of you keeping up on my quick lick series, yes, this is one of the quick licks that's on my series. But here it is on B flat. I don't complete the whole lick because it goes to A7. So here's a lick note, I'll call it a lick phrase, note for note. And then I stop there. To me, the time I use this the most is when we have a tritone substitution dominant chord, as in this case. B flat is a tritone sub for E7. So what I'm doing here is playing F melodic minor. If the band was playing E7, F melodic minor would still work and give you a different set of coloration. It's not terribly dark, it's more quirky like the whole tone scale. Here it is. But this lick is. And then on the 8, and that's a nice little simple phrasing. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. And then I did the classic little ending lick that you all are aware of. But I don't think I didn't include the slur, but I just went 1. And then now on this D minor, I'm gonna time. Beautiful sound. And then hear what's going on, this phrase. 3 and 4 and. Right? Do you see that? So it just, in the band's just playing D minor for 4 bars, but I'm kind of superimposing this cliche.